This is MP Cards and Games, and I'm actually doing this video after YCS Sydney 2019. So it was a really fun event. There was quite a lot of decks that were a bit like there was Thunder Dragons and Sky Strikers and all sorts of decks. Like, they are very hard decks to face against, but at least there was quite a lot of decks this format compared to Spiral format, where it was pretty much Spiral and then you'd have the occasional rogue player. But yeah, this is my deck that I took to YCS Sydney and also to the Mega Regionals at YCS Sydney. Besides one or two cards for the Mega Regionals, which I'll address when addressing the deck profile. But the YCS Sydney was pretty good. It was really good. I had a lot of my mates come, since we're only like an hour away from Sydney, so most of my mates came from our locals. One of them top 8'd. Yeah, one of them top 8'd, and then one of them was playing Dynamist. His name's Liam. He allowed me to borrow some of his stuff, which is nice. But he went day one, only lost one game, and that was because of time. He only lost because in time. I actually watched that game and he probably wouldn't have lost if it weren't for time. He could have made a few more plays to make a recovery or something. But then day two, last round, he lost another round. He lost his feature match, and then he lost against Trickstar Sky Strikers, which was a close game. But hopefully we'll be having his deck profile soon. After I get this one up, hopefully I'll get that one up. I still need to do his deck profile, and I need to give him back a few cards when I see him next at locals. But this is my Rongo deck profile. I really only started playing this a week ago, a week before the event, because I had an Ultrageist deck that I've been playing for ages, but I didn't have like impermanence or evenly matched, so I didn't want to play it. But I had most of the stuff still from Goki format. So I ran 3 junk forward. This is really good. Just any extender in your hand, and like you don't draw your equip spells and stuff, will generally get, like, if you have like 2 or 3 extenders, like, or one extender and like a good normal summon, and they have nothing to negate any of your things, like a hand trap, you're probably going to make Rongo. Then 2 Marauding Captain. I barely saw this. Probably would take it out in hindsight. But again, it's just another extender, so you don't brick, because this deck, you hate bricking. I play 45 cards, just because there's so many cards you want to see as well, and you also want less chance of drawing your equip spells and some of your bricks. But at the main event, I went throughout our 7 rounds. First round I won, and it was against this weird Goki variant. Round 2, I won against Sky Strikers, the only Sky Striker matchup I faced the entire event, including Mega Regionals. Then round 3, I was on table 15. It's like, how am I going this good with the deck I only started playing this week? And I faced against Bowden. Beat him game 1, Rongoed him game 1. Game 2, he beat me. Game 3, I drew fairly poorly, but I still made his sold, and then he just impermanence to me. So they're the first 3 games, but I'll continue the deck profile and talk more about it. But Bowden was my first loss, and he came second at Worlds. For my Phantom Knight monster engine, I run the 1 gloves, the 1 cloak, and the 3 boots. These are really good. If I didn't have these, this deck would be terrible. But this is just a free special if you have another one on board, and they're really good to summon off Summon Sorceress, and especially with their graveyard effects. They're only annoying when like your opponent has a Colossus, but like it's still not bad to have them on board. And if you can out the Colossus, it should be fine. Now for my Neospatian engine, 3 connectors. Liam, the dude who almost top 32'd with Dynamist, actually lent me these. I did pull one at the YCS, but he lent me these, so thank you to him. And then I had my Aqua Dolphin from Goki format. I played Spiral Super Agent as a tech. This actually helped me in 2 games. One I just predicted correctly, and like I popped, I popped his card. And then another game it also helped me against Paleo, which was actually one of my losses, but I won that game. It was just in the third game. He ended up drawing pretty bad, but he drew like Disruption. And I drew pretty well, but he impermanenced my Isolde when I didn't use its effect. Then I used first effect, he Ghost Ogres. I still had enough to make my plays, so I summoned Summon Sorceress, he strikes Summon Sorceress, and then I just had a few monsters left and couldn't do much else, so I played the grind game because they announced 5 minutes left in turn. I counted for about 7 minutes and I was still up in life points, but turn hadn't been announced. Then he made Toad combos and he ended up beating me. But again, I probably should have tried to eventually play more aggressive, but it was a bit hard because if I played too aggressive, he probably still would have beat me. I played the one Goblinberg. I always sided it out. I occasionally side out the Super Agent because it's not that good. It's good against Ultrageist, which I only faced once, and I faced in the Mega Regionals. It's also good against like Paleo and like stuff and Sky Strikers, where you know that you're going to have a lot of back row, or know what cards they're going to have a majority of in their deck. But against like Thunder Dragon, it's a bit hard because 50% is like spells, and then it's more like 30% spells, 50% or 60% monsters sort of thing. 2 Butterfly, this is like hand trap blocks, so it's really good if you summon like Connector. You can block their hand trap from negating Connector's effect, and it's just a free special, so it just allows you to make those Rongo boards really easily. 3 Dark Grepher. This is like really good. It unbricks your hand if you draw into like a Malicious. And just the pitch effect's also really good, so it's not a bad normal summon either. And it was one of the major reasons why I won. Armageddon Knight, these days you don't actually want to draw it that often. If you draw it, it's not terrible, but it's better to summon off Isolde, off Isolde. But it is a really good card, and I know why they hit it at 1. 2, this card's still good at 2. Even if you draw it, as long as you draw like something to pitch it, it's still really good. Like if you draw a Dark Grepher or a Connector and send with Aqua Dolphin, it's still not too bad to have in your hand. And instead of summoning Armageddon Knight off Isolde, you'll summon like Grepher if you have this in hand. So then you just pitch the Malicious, and then you'll pitch like the next card, Destrudo, which this was really good. This was sometimes the way that I could make Rongo, because I'm not playing the best variant of this deck. I don't have like Mares and stuff. I do have a Mare, but I don't have the Synchro for it. Yahtzee, I don't have Yahtzee, or it's called something like that. I don't have that card, so this really helped me. Like you target level 4, it becomes level 3, and then you make the level 3 dude. So yeah, and then this could also be good for like, sometimes I wouldn't even have to Rongo and I could still win. And then we play the Rotor. Rotor's just still really good, always good in Warrior decks, you always want to play it. Foolish Burial, I would side this out every now and then. But it's still a good extender, and it's like a free Armageddon Knight, like besides it's not in a monster, so you can send Malicious or the Phantom Knight stuff. Instant Fusion, good because it allows you to get into a big dude, and it's just another extender card. The only problem with it is if you draw multiples suck, or if you draw it late game and you've already like activated one. But this actually allowed me to out a Thunder Dragon board. Like he had like triple Colossus and like another dude, but I made a misplay, still lost that game because when I soul charged, and like I could have made a Rongo as well, but I forgot to send Destrudo. But then I beat him the next 2 games, which was good. Like I Rongoed him, and this was at the Mega Regionals. Sorry, at the Mega Regionals, because I only faced Thunder Dragon besides Bowden's one. The only other Thunder Dragons I first versed were at the Mega Regionals. So at Mega Regionals I could have outed his board, but I instead made like Borlo and stuff and did some stupid misplays. And then game 2 I Rongoed him, so he couldn't really play, and I Gumballed him for 2. Then game 3 he just bricked, and like even Lanciered, but I had such a good hand that I could still make Rongo and like at least an Isolde, and he just couldn't play around it. And I think he even opened up like Brilliant, gold Sark, but he opened like 2 Lancia and like a Mothman, and when he used the Mothman, he drew into another Mothman. Then he used no, he drew into like a Lancia, I think, but he had another Mothman in his hand or something. But I ashed his what do you call it, Brilliant Fusion. Then we play the 1 Monster Reborn. This is still really good. It's just a free summon, so sometimes even if you screw up, if you have this card, you can still make plays. Soul Charge, this is the best screw up card, but I always sided it out when I was scared to going into time, because you don't need it. You only need it if you've got a really bad hand, or your opponent, like if your opponent's already made a good enough board or something, or you're just bad at this deck. But it's a good card, but sometimes it makes you overextend and not realize what you could have done. Like sometimes this is just too overextending, and in time it can kill you. Like I've had another mate that was playing this deck, and he lost one of his games in the main event because of Soul Charge. I only resolved it, I think, once, even though I've had it in my hand like 3 times, but you don't really need it. For the equips, I played 5 because drawing 1, it doesn't really matter. Drawing 2, it hurts. Like you can, depending on your hand, you can still Rongo, but generally you only want to draw 1 or none. But I play the Moon Mirror Shield. It's like I've had it in there for a while, and I don't own many good equip spells. But I guess this can also get over like a problem of it can beat stick. United We Stand. This was a funny tech. I was going to put like some Axe of Despair or something, but this actually helped me in the Mega Regionals against another Thunder Dragon play. No, it was another. I forgot what deck it was. I don't think it was Thunder Dragon actually, but it was another deck, and oh no, it was Thunder Dragon. It was Thunder Dragon, but he fairly bricked, but he had Xyz Encore in another set, so instead of making Rongo, I realised I could OTK and I didn't need to make Rongo. So I made like a Nightmare Phoenix, I made a Nightmare Phoenix and a Summon Sorceress and a Unicorn. So I'd popped most of his back row, I shuffled his main monster back, and then what I did, I played United We Stand, and my Summon Sorceress gained 22 off it, so it was 2600. No, it was, sorry, 4600. And then I had another 2200, and then I had 19, so that was like an OTK, and that won me that duel, because that was when I was going second, and Lucky bricked, and that was at the Mega Regional where I actually drew that card. And then Living Fossil, it's still good. It's like a Monster Reborn, like a worse Monster Reborn, but still good. You don't mind drawing this one. DDR is still a decent card to draw. It's one of the best equip spells. You usually will send these for. But if you've drawn into like this, you'll send these for. Like it doesn't really matter as long as you have 4 to send. Phoenix Blade is really good to send. It just gives you free recursion. It probably should be hit. It's just too free. And it allows this deck to just combo off so well. Cool Buy. These are really good against hand traps, but I was so lucky at the event. I faced against a few hand traps that hurt me. Like when I accidentally played Isolde and used first effect, second effect after he used Impermanence and he Ghost Ogred. But most of the games, even when I drew this, my opponent didn't have a hand trap, so if they did, I could have negated it anyway. But this is sometimes even good against them trying to use Grave Effects, so it's not a bad card. It's still a pretty good card, and it also hurts them targeting. I actually got that used on me a few times, Cool Buy. I run the 3 Brigandine, just because it's a free special and it's needed in the combo. Generally I'd side one out going second, but going first I'd still usually run 3. But it was just an extra thing to side out every now and then. It isn't terrible to see it in your draw. So yeah, it's a good card. Then we played the 1 Fogblade. Fogblade's just an extra good searcher, and it just like is a free negate, and occasionally it did come in handy. Now for the extra deck, the 1 Invoker Raijin. This is just your instant fusion target, and it flips something, so it can. It's good against like Colossus and stuff. So you flip their Colossus, and then you just have a free link fodder for Isolde. Leviair, this is like to get you into further combos if you screwed up your combo. and it allows you to make further combos, like it can help you Gumbler and stuff. I didn't summon it very often just because my variant isn't the best at... it's good at spamming, but you really want to make Rongo. Every game that I won, every time I made Rongo, I won. I don't think there was any game where I made Rongo and I lost. Even when I made Rongo with only 2 materials, somehow I still OTK'd the opponent. So every game I made Rongo, I won. Rongo's just so good, and probably that or Bamboozle, this card, will get hit. Either one of these two, because it's just too broken. This is like, it pretty much says to your opponent, don't play. Even if you have like 5 materials, because they've got to wait 2 turns, 2 of their turns to out this. And most decks really like to normal or special summon, so if you can like then use like Summon Sorceress effect, which I did do a lot of times, because it can still use Summon Sorceress effect even when you have this with 5 material, then you just special summon, and then you can go into like a combo piece to pop something or spin something, and if you have something in hand already, generally you can be OTK will be close enough that they'll probably scoop. So yeah, Rongo's just, in this deck it was so good, and especially in my YCS variant, it was like just the best card in the extra deck. If I didn't have it in the extra deck for the YCS variant of my deck, I probably wouldn't have gone so well. Even though I didn't win the event and I didn't even top 32, I still went really well considering I only picked up this deck last week. The Space Insulator and Reproductus, sorry I can't actually pronounce that. I summoned neither of these the entire event. In playtesting I summoned this a fair bit, but I just didn't need to summon them. But it was just options, I guess, if my Assault got banished. But the only time I ever got cherries, which was at Mega Regionals, they cherried this. And it was like, yeah, that hurt, but lucky I picked up another card for the Mega Regional, which was really good. To Assault, this is essential. If in this variant at least, if you play better variants, you can still play if they negate the second effect. You can, if you draw a good enough hand, you can still play if they negate the second effect, but generally you're pretty well screwed over. But this is just such a good card. It has been for the last few formats, and again I still have mine from Goki format, so yeah, that's still really good that I kept a hold of these. And then my Nightmare Engine, Cerberus, Phoenix, Unicorn, and yeah, these are the 3 major ones, and these sometimes would just win me off the bat, like that time when I OTK'd using Summon Sorceress and these guys, and getting the free draws and like pops and everything, and especially when your opponent's playing defensive after you've played a Rongo or something, this is just really good to get rid of a lot of their stuff and a lot of their problem cards. Cerberus, like, people recommended me taking it out, but it did have a few nice little times when it was actually good. And then it was also not too bad when I had to try to like out Colossus and stuff. Like, I would do that and then like Rongo. But Phoenix and the Unicorn were the ones that really were the MVPs of the Nightmare Engine. One Summon Sorceress, this is really good. If this also gets negated, unless you draw a really good hand, you're probably not going to make Rongo in this variant. If you play, again, a more expensive variant of the deck, then you probably can still make Rongo, but besides the Bamboozle, which you do need in every variant, and I don't think I actually run any major expensive main decks. No, I don't run any major expensive main decks, so yeah, all the main decks pretty cheap. So probably this deck would cost you less than $100. Maybe the Bamboozle, because that costs $40. Maybe it might cost you $120 if you're running this variant. Not counting Side, because Side's where it's gotten more expensive. But yeah. Then I played the Phantom Knights of Rusty Boots. Sorry, I never summoned this the entire event. I thought I was going to summon this a lot more. This is usually a major combo piece, but if I could make Rongo, I would usually win, so I'd just make Rongo. And for some reason, no one drew, like, besides that one player, no one else drew Xyz Encore. So, all were running it for some reason. So, this was just not really needed. Like, it's needed in the deck, and I'd recommend you playing it, but I just didn't summon it the entire event. Borreload, I summoned it twice. Both times I summoned it, I lost. Like, it is a good card, but you need other players to go with it. Like, the round that lost me in day one, when I was 2-0, which was against True Draco. Game 1 he erupts, and I just can't activate my effects. I drew a pretty decent hand, but I can't activate my effects. Game 2 I beat him with Rongo. Game 3, I have a good enough hand where he erupts and I can still make Brawl Load, and he has nothing that can beat over it for that he has on the field, and he can't actually tribute summon for one for a little while. So I attack, and then he Fiendish Chains me, and it's like, what the hell, Fiendish Chain in 2019? And then he beats me because he Fiendish Chained this, and then 2 turns later, he got, like, he tributed one of his traps that he drew, and then just popped this because its effects were negated. And I didn't see any of my 3 Twin Twisters or Red Reboots for that matchup, which was really annoying. Then at the main event, I played Griffin. I think I only summoned it once for a joke, and I already had so much advantage that I won because of it. Or not because of this card, but I just already pretty much won. But this was really good at the Mega Regional. I actually purchased this round 2 of the main event. I went to pre-rego. I couldn't find any vendor anywhere, and then I brought my deck list, and I already had it done, and I brought it in, and then I found it. Then I had a look around, and then it was like at the edge of this corner, and it was like, then they had Gumbler Dragon. It's like, damn, I don't have it. But comparing, I didn't run this in main for round 1. I went the main event. I went fairly decent in the main event. Probably one of the best I've been in a YCS main event, but for the Mega Regionals, it was really good. Like, when my first opponent, an Ultrageist opponent that didn't have impermanence for some reason, although they couldn't afford it, they played Reapers when I summoned like 3 monsters, and they reapered my Rongo, and then I just ended up Gumbler hand looping them, and like Phoenix, I ended up Phoenix and unicorning their back row, and I had Red Reboot, so I negated. Oh no, not that game. First game I didn't have Red Reboot against it, so I just ended up shuffling. He didn't have like any responsive stuff, so I just like he only had 2 cards left in hand, so I Gumblered his 2 cards left in hand, and then I like was able to summon like Phoenix Unicorn, and then like kill him, and then another game I drew like Red Reboot, and I did a similar thing because he also drew the cherries again, and he targeted Rongo, and I ended up killing him. But he had like a protocol, and he was going to activate protocol, and I Red Rebooted. Then I think he survived to the next turn, and then I think I drew into another Red Reboot and ended up killing him because I drew into another Red Reboot. Gumbler is really good, and it's not that expensive at the moment, which is good. And then for the side deck, the one John Lockwood didn't see it the entire event. I probably should have ran more. I do own more. It was just this side deck space was really tight. I was debating on running like Mind Control instead, but like this isn't too bad against certain, like it isn't too bad against True Draco, which searches a lot. It's not bad against Sky Strikers, which search a lot. It's alright against Thunder Dragon, depending on how much they search. Terrible against Ultrageist. Never signed this against Ultrageist. Against Rongo, it's meh. I had the 3 Ashes inside. I was originally going to main one, but it was like in playtesting, I originally actually mained 3 when I didn't have some of the stuff. Like when I wasn't running 5 equip spells in testing, like at locals, like the first, like on Tuesday when I was playing at locals, the Tuesday before YCS Sydney, and I was running like, I think I was running 2 of these in main, and I kept on like bricking because I kept on drawing into these. So these were really good side deck cards. Like it won me one of my games. I think I only saw it once in the entire event when siding it, but it's still a good card as long as they don't call by it. But yeah, Ashes are still good, and I was lucky to get my 3rd very recently from via opening a Valhalla pack. 3 Ghost Reapers. I don't think I saw it at all, even though I sided in. There was one game at the Mega Regionals where I was versing like a Six Samurai Rongo player. And I sighted in like all these and didn't see any of them. And game 1 he like rongoed me and like did like a whole bunch of weird stuff, and like he drew half of his deck. Game 2 I rongoed him. Game 3 I didn't see any of my hand traps and he like rongoed me, but he even did incorrect plays for the lols because he had Soul Charge in hand. So yeah, and then I played 2 Artifact Lancia, just against like Thunder Dragon and I guess the Mirror. Like I didn't side against the Mirror, but against Thunder Dragon it's really good. I actually drew this against one of my Thunder Dragon games, but since I was going first and I could make Rongo, I didn't really need it. But against Bowden I didn't see it, which was sad. But I'm only running 2, so that's understandable. 3 Twin Twisters. I wish I would have seen this against the True Draco player. And 3 Red Reboot, still good cards. This one's really nice, even though you're allowed to set them, because in Rongo you'll generally kill your opponent that turn, or if not kill them, you at least make a Rongo, which is just such a good card, which they generally, even with an extra trap, they won't out it. So Red Reboot is just such a good card. And then Twin Twisters, again, it's really good, and I thought I was going to be playing against more Sky Strikers, and it's good against Rogue as well, so, and it's not too bad against Ultrageist and stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much the deck profile. I ended up at Mega Regionals 2-0. I ended up 2-0ing Mega Regionals, so I got 9th place, so I top 32'd Mega Regionals, so that gets me my invite into Oceanics. Main event, I ended up scrubbing out again last round of day 1. Some of my a lot of my locals buddies got invites. Yeah, one of them top 8'd, which was really cool. But yeah, this Mega Regionals was really good. The only other card I bought besides Topologic this entire event was I think a Metamorphosis for Goat, and then I think I traded like, I think it was like a ultra rare Aqua Dolphin and like a super rare Boots for like it was for a 3rd Lullaby of Obedience. Yeah, hopefully we'll get the day 2 making Dynamis deck profile. But this has been MP Cards and Games Rongo YCS Sydney deck profile. So this is MP Cards and Games signing out.